What's going on, everyone? So the title today is not a lie at all. We are getting a bunch of new stuff with set 4, and my goodness, am I more excited than even I was for set 3. Now, for set 3, Twilight Republic, it was awesome. I had a lot of fun. I'm still having a lot of fun. It was more about the thematic of the set, and I think a lot of people shared that sentiment. Clone Wars just seems sweet. Tokens seem sweet. But in set 4, not only are we getting space unit tokens, which is really cool, similar to the Clone Trooper tokens and Battle Droid tokens, but more so the mechanics and teasers from set 4, including the things that I mentioned in the title, seem absolutely crazy. And Star Wars Unlimited it's just looking like a better and better experience in terms of gameplay and more theory crafting / design, as in set 1 and even set 2, for the most part, every deck basically was the same cards, really not too much innovation / changes. Come set 3, we have a little bit more of kind of differences. Like you could see Cad Bane Red and Django Red, completely different decks, right? One's more ground focused, one's more space focused, oftentimes not even playing most of the same cards, besides like Ruthless Raider, for example. But very distinct strategies with very different goals. And that just is absolutely awesome. And in set 4, it looks like we're going to get even more of that, and that's going to happen with more sets. But it looks like just with this teaser article that I have behind me, which came out a few days ago, I am extremely excited. So I just want to talk a little bit about that, as well as mention a few specific things that I am extremely excited for. I'll leave a link to this article down below, as it goes through a lot of little tiny teasers coming with set 4. And we're going to run through them pretty quickly, but I may miss a couple just because they're less exciting, or I may not know too much about what exactly they mean. For example, here, they're talking about multiple common events from the first 2 sets that were mentioning vehicle only instead of the restriction of ground unit only, potentially, it looks like. Vehicle only, maybe removal options with only vehicle only. Ground unit that can attack space unit, so one ground unit that can attack a space unit, absolutely crazy. A card that cares about a friendly space unit's power. Unique space unit that appears twice in the set. Maybe like a Fet's Fire Spray types 2? Probably not, but Millennium Falcon could be, as that's got many different iterations over the years. There's a card with jump to light speed. There are 2 units that are tied for being the largest unit we've ever printed. If my memory serves, that's like Finalizer and 1111. So 2 units that are larger than an 1111, and twice as many modification upgrades in the set as there were in the first 3 sets combined. Now, I imagine they're including piloting in that. If not, that's absolutely insane. I'd have to count how many like upgrades there were. They're saying modification upgrades. I'm kind of curious as to what that means. Like, does entrenched and perilous positioning get included in that? Do bounties get included in that? Probably not. I wouldn't imagine bounties be modifications. My imagination kind of goes into like stats changes, but I'm not actually sure the qualification for modification upgrades. There's a bunch of new subtitles. I'm sure someone with more specific knowledge on Star Wars than me, or kind of get reminded of certain subtitles that might fit. Like maybe Shrewd Sister applies to something. I feel like it would. I Work Alone, maybe that's some sort of Mandalorian reference. Prototype Battleship, I feel like I should know that. That type of stuff. I'm sure someone could tell us exactly what these reference. And if you know in the comment section down below, please let me know, because I am very curious. I'd have to go ahead and do some research before I would make this video to really determine exactly what these subtitles mean. And, well, I'm sure someone out there already knows off the top of their head. But some really sweet stuff also, including 1 unit in the set whose name starts with each letter of the alphabet except Y. There's at least 1 unit in the set with the first each letter of the alphabet, which is pretty crazy. The wordiest leader in the set has 62 more words on it than the least wordy leader. An aggression card in this set has an ability that permanently increases the number of resources you control. So we have aggression ramp, it looks like. A common in this set appears 3 times as often as every other common. That makes me think of a lot of things like Magic, where they say if you have multiple copies or play as many of these copies of in your deck, so it breaks the copy restriction. So no, maybe we can play as many as we want in the deck, And also, it increases based on the amount of other copies on the battlefield, similar to like HERA Parent was one that came out recently, like Rat Colony, for those of you that are playing Magic the Gathering, things that increase the power based on the amount of that specific card on the battlefield. I could definitely see that being the case if it's appearing 3 times as often to make draft a little bit easier of that strategy. There are, not including base health, the highest numeral that appears on the card is the number 15 and appears in a text box. Is that raid 15? Is that exploit 15? I have no idea. Who knows what it could be? Maybe it's just referencing the number 15. Like if they have 15 HP on their base or 15 damage on their base, do something similar to like, oh my gosh, I literally just played with this card, but the name is eluding me right now. The Walker. Oh my gosh, the Republic Walker or Rebel Walker. I forget what it is. One leader has the same trait printed on it 6 different times. So potentially like give something X, and then on the flip side, you can give everything X. Like maybe it's like give every unit raid 1 or attack where the unit gets raid 1. On the backside, every unit gets raid 1, and then this has like raid 1 times 4. Whatever it is, I have no idea. It could be something crazy. 6 different times is a lot. So it's definitely got to be on like the action side and the flip side, potentially with both the leader version and the pilot version, which does have 2 different options of getting that same trait. An uncommon from a previous set is reprinted in this set as a common. Kind of interesting. Depends on what uncommon. Like, is it Plo Koon? Right? Like, Plo Koon's an uncommon, I believe. I doubt that Plo Koon is going to come back. But definitely has some options there. Is it going to be a removal option? It's more for draft, I would say, than anything else, unless it's an expensive uncommon, which I imagine the most expensive uncommon off the top of my head is like $1 or so. There are multiple bases in the set with more than 30 HP. So is it going to give us some sort of negative? Like, is it going to say you cannot play any card in your deck with 1 resource cost? For example, like I can imagine like a Vigilance base. You cannot play any 2 resource cost card or less, and it gives you 35 HP. That seems pretty reasonable to me. Like something like that. Not saying that that would be perfectly balanced, because that seems pretty strong to me. But that type of negative impact on your deck building or negative impact on your overall gameplay because you're getting that extra HP, or is it actually going to be some sort of positive? Because if it is a positive, then 30 HP bases in general are completely negated in the game, because you would just run this extra HP and not have any downside, right? So I would like to see some sort of downside with over 30 HP bases, but I imagine that is going to be the case. There are the following words and phrases appear on exactly 1 card each in the entire set. Extra. Is it extra turn? Do we get an extra like action phase? Or like, can we get an extra regroup phase? I don't know what you could do, like something like that. Like, hey, you get an extra regroup and action phase, but your opponent doesn't. Interesting. Mulligan, maybe you can impact the mulligans. Like if you have this in your opening hand, you mulligan, something happens. Half, are we getting a mill half your deck? That would be sweet. Detach target leader from vehicle, turning it into like a unit maybe, or detach target upgrade. Choose a base. That seems pretty reasonable. There's a few different things that could be. Ready them. Ready like all vehicles. Different name. Interesting stuff there as well. And this is where it gets pretty insane. I know there are fans eager to know what cards do. But I can't promise you're seeing the whole story with each of these abilities. What cards do you think they're on? What else could they do? This unit can attack. Each other friendly Spectre unit gains. Is this a HERA buff? Can we play HERA as our leader, play this, and suddenly every Spectre unit's insane? Each space unit you control. Okay. We get some sort of like attack again type extra combat phase for every single space unit. If this unit would be defeated instead, if you control more space units than an opponent, when you deploy a leader, it looks like some sort of base impact, or maybe some sort of unit that gives you some sort of advantage when you play your leader. The first unit you play each round costs 2 less. Sounds like a very expensive thing. When you use a when defeated ability. So can we have a when defeated deck? Is that a thing? Because that would be absolutely sweet. When played / on attack / when defeated. Of course. That can definitely be on 1 card. Choose a friendly unit for each of its on attack abilities. Okay. If you do move this unit to the ground arena and give 2 experience tokens to it, is that some sort of detaching from a pilot, like detaching a pilot to a ground, like evacuate or parachute out type deal? Then if they have more cards in hand than they do, okay, are we going to get some sort of maybe draw equal to or discard down? If no player has taken the initiative of this phase, you may ready an enemy unit. That is interesting. I'm not sure if that's I have to figure. I'd have to see the card because that doesn't seem like an advantage, right? If no players taking the initiative this phase, you may ready an enemy unit. Doesn't seem that great. But we have a lot of images here. We have a lot of teasers, and I am immensely excited. The ones that look specifically most exciting to me, each other friendly unit, Spectre unit gains. I would love to see some sort of thing pulling together all of the Phoenix Squadron. I know it's not Phoenix, it's Spectre, as in terms of traits in this game, but I think of the Phoenix Squad. And if we could have something that shares, stats or gives you something for all of a payoff for all of your Spectre units, maybe HERA is actually viable. Maybe HERA won't be the worst leader in the game type deal. I would love to see a when defeated payoff. Just playing when defeated cards is absolutely insane. Absolutely super excited for more than 30 HP bases. That seems more of a controlling aspect, but maybe more mid-range decks can be more viable with some sort of negative attached to them. Like you can only play odd cards in your deck. Now that's kind of like the new Han leader. Not really, but similar. There are just so many different things that I am extremely, extremely excited for that this just excites me, right? These all seem very unique options. Like we have unique options in the previous sets, of course, but these seem uniquely unique, if that makes any sense. Like things that I wasn't really expecting and are really going to shake up the game. Not only that, but we also have planetary qualifiers coming in soon, so we'll get to see the meta really shape up when we get these more professional tournaments in Star Wars Unlimited, and then follow that up with a set 4, and my goodness, is my Star Wars Unlimited bucket going to be filled for quite some time. So let me know what you think about these little tiny spoilers, and I know I just read through them pretty quickly, giving you kind of like my initial impressions, but I just wanted to share with you kind of my, not initial read through, because I did skim it beforehand because I was kind of excited, but kind of my second read through, just my initial thoughts just blasting through my head. And I'm sure you all have a bunch of them, and I'm sure you're like, what are you even thinking about? How could you not even think about this, etc., etc., etc.? Let me know what that is for you in the comments section down below, because I am extremely excited. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all for the next one.